Kings Island in Mason, Ohio is home to many roller coasters, but they obviously can't keep all of them forever. So today, I'm going to be saying how much in danger I think every Kings Island coaster is of being removed. And by the way, this is not at all confirmed or anything. This is just some random small YouTuber guessing some things. First up is the park's oldest coaster, the Racer. Since it's an ace landmark and with all of the retracts and repaints and stuff that they've been doing to this recently, I don't think that this is in too much danger. This gets a 2 out of 10. Next up is the Bat. It's not an ace landmark like the Racer was, but it is a pretty rare model, an aero-suspended coaster. I think that there's only like 4 other of those left in existence. So I think that Kings Island would at least try a bit to save this. So this gets a 3 out of 10. Next up is Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. This is almost definitely not going anytime soon. First of all, because it's almost brand new. It just opened in 2024. But also, it almost always has a pretty long line. That's partly because it's a shuttle coaster and has bad capacity. But it's at least partly because it's a popular ride. So I don't think that this is going away anytime soon. This gets a 1 out of 10. Next up is Invertigo. This is rough and normally doesn't have a super long wait. So this probably would get a 9 or maybe even 10 out of 10. But this season they made a huge effort to keep it alive. So just because of that, it's an 8 out of 10. Next up is Banshee. It is a fun ride, and the film music that you can barely ever hear is a nice touch too. But then most of the elements aren't super memorable, and the ride doesn't usually have a super long wait. But it is a good ride, so this gets a 4 out of 10. Next up is Diamondback. This is very reliable and popular, so this gets an easy 1 out of 10. Kings Island, please keep this masterpiece around forever. Next is Orion. This is pretty similar to Diamondback, reliable and popular, but slightly less popular than Diamondback, so this would be a 2 out of 10, but since it just opened in 2020, this is a 1 out of 10. Next up is Flight of Fear. This ride sometimes gets a kind of long wait, but that's just because it is indoors and some people sometimes want air conditioning on a hot day. But aside from that, it's not very popular and it's kind of uncomfortable. So I could see this going away in the near future. So this gets a 7 out of 10. Although if they did remove this, and they would probably want to get another Winterfest coaster. That might be kind of hard to do, so that is the only reason that I wouldn't see it going away soon. Next up is Mystic Timbers. The only reason that I could see this going is because I guess wooden coasters are harder to maintain, but this thing just opened in 2017. It's not going anywhere soon. This gets a 2 out of 10. Next up is the Beast. This is kind of a hard one because it's a huge wooden coaster, so obviously it's probably pretty hard to maintain, but then also they've been doing a ton of retracts and it's been fine for all of these years, so it's at least a bit on the safer side. This gets a 4 out of 10. although it was kind of hard to decide what I got. Next is Woodstock's Airrail. This would be like an 8 out of 10 because it's an old, not very smooth or popular family coaster, but they just used up a ton of space next to this to build Snoopy's Soapbox Racers, so they wouldn't have a ton of space if they took this out. So because of that, this is a 6 out of 10. So now next is Woodstock Express. The only reason that I could see them maybe removing this is if like they removed in Vertigo, and then they wanted to do something that like starts over by Vertigo and goes over the entrance over to here or something. But aside from that, there's not really any reason to me that they would remove this. I think that this is fine. This gets a 4 out of 10. Next up is Queen City Stunt Coaster. I don't have too much to say about this one. This one gets a 3 out of 10. Now Adventure Express. This almost never has a wait, and it's kind of old, so this gets a 5 out of 10. Last but not least is the Great Pumpkin Coaster. The only reason that I see them removing this is if it, for some reason, gets super problematic because of how old it is. So this gets a 2 out of 10. So that was quick. We're already done. But wait, don't leave the video. I have something very, very important to tell you guys. I just hit 50 subscribers, so that means that the next big milestone for me to get to is 100 subscribers. So I would really, really appreciate it if you guys helped me get to that goal. So with that, thank you for watching the video.